You're listening to the Pursuing Alpha podcast, hosted by Charles Brandon Snyder.
Yeah, so Josh Allen here, and I like to describe myself as a highly curious human being. And you've probably done. Curiosity has been an interesting topic. Of curiosity opens up lots of different doors, lots of different rabbit trails, lots of dead ends. But curiosity, ultimately, I think when you lean into curiosity. And you apply certain metrics, and I'm a former CPA, so I kind of look at the world through the financial lens. It has opened the doors of, started in real estate probably 20 plus years ago. And that business has really kind of grown and morphed into Reside Real Estate. Our mutual, crazy, great friend, Casey Klingon-Smith and Mark Murray and I have kind of had the privilege of launching our own brokerage, Reside Real Estate Co., which has been a lot of fun. A lot of great people have come along beside us. But
yeah, my wife's with you.
And what I love about real estate is I kind of started on the financial end of things. And you may not even know, I ran a little small hedge fund with a buddy of mine who traded commodities, futures, options, Forex. We did a lot of stuff around that. And then I kind of bled into real estate. But with real estate, it's kind of this, I almost call it the spoke of the wheel that has all of these different hubs that come out of it, because real estate touches so many different industries. And so our curiosity started going on the line of all right, well, we're already helping a lot of investors buy property. And my little brain said, why don't we become the lender on real estate deals when they're kind of in a private and they don't fit in the traditional box? So 10 plus years ago, I just started dabbling and trying and failing on being a private lender for investor deals. And it kind of morphed into, we were being the mortgage company for investors or people who just couldn't quite buy under traditional mortgage lending. And then now I've got a $10 to $20 million book of loans for investors buying fix and flips and rentals and small multifamily stuff. And because I understand real estate, I understand the risk profile of all right, I'll lend on that property or that property. I won't lend on that one. So I can kind of take the risk analysis of would I want to own that property if I ever had to take it back as a lender? And if I would, then it matches my profile and metric for being a lender, and then I create the lender spread. So LBK Lending is kind of our lending arm, and then title, right? Every single real estate has to go through a title transaction, escrow transaction. And, we're sending just gobs of business to title companies. And we've got great relationships with some of them. Others, like anything, you kind of wish it was a better experience.
Sure.
And we started asking the question of why don't we start our own title company? And this is always those dumb entrepreneur questions. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know how hard it is.
Right.
We don't know how to operate it. I'm just dumb enough to know, let's try it.
My always explanation of that is most entrepreneurs jump out of the airplane. They don't even know if they're wearing a parachute yet. And they're like, I'll figure it out on the way down. Right.
Or here's a better airplane analogy someone gave me. And he was doing one of those disc profile assessments on your personality. He said, Josh is the kind of personality that will fly an airplane while he's still building it.
Yeah, that's the other way to say it.
And it's I'm okay doing that. There's a couple parts missing. I mean, that Boeing door might pop out. I'm okay. I can still make that work.
Sure.
And so the title side came out of, we're already sending business there. So, one thing about entrepreneurship and when you're starting a business is who's going to be my customer? Mm-hmm. Where's revenue going to come from? And can I operate that business functionally from an execution standpoint and so forth? And so we feel like we had already solved, in my opinion, one of the hardest pieces. That is, we will be the customer. We're already sending enough business to have a revenue base day one that we can fill in the blanks. We can go hire people. We can cover operations. We can figure those other pieces out.
Sure.
But the business has got to come from somewhere. We control the business. So that led us down the path. And quite honestly, I think like any entrepreneurial startup, you got to have really talented operators.
Finding good talent, finding sticky talent, and making sure they mesh well with what you're trying to do and they have the same vision is one of the hardest things you can ever do. And the problem is, as an entrepreneur, is you're the one that takes all the risk when you do it. They think it's, they look at people that don't run businesses and they work for that W-2 income. There's good things on both sides of it. But the hardest thing that I think I get to have great conversations with a lot of business owners, and their always biggest complaint is employees on they can't find enough of them, they can't find qualified ones, they can't get them to stay. There's always that thing. And we created, you rewind 40 years ago, you went to work for one company for 40 years and you know what I'm saying? 50 years ago, whatever that was. But now it's like, it's almost like if you stay with somebody for 3 to 5 years, man, you got somebody that's really good and grounded with you. So it's hard to do that. And I will second, and I will, what you're saying there, it's just execution, operation, and make sure you have somebody that can run it is the hardest things, because we look at a lot of deals and we look at a lot of opportunities, and that's always been the one that we gravitate for is I don't want to be the operator of this business. And if it goes sideways, who's going to operate? It's one of the biggest key things I think that people overlook when they get into business together. But the other two are, finding the customer is not easy either.
No, it's not. It's not. And I think we've shifted a little bit again. When you're just starting and you're kind of dumb enough or crazy enough to go, we're just going to try this out. And again, I'll say it was a total God thing and an alignment of the right operator when we first launched True Title here in Lubbock, which, we had offices right next to you for a number of years, still there on 122nd. And so our operator president at the time, Emily Herring, has been just an absolute rock star. And sometimes you don't know that. I've said this a lot to people is you can do all the DISC assessments. You can certainly see the track record of people, and that's going to, imply we think we're getting this person, but sometimes you don't know how great of a rock star you're getting or how average of a person you're getting. And for us, we just came across the absolute ideal person to help launch a Lubbock location, which has been a great success. And our model really has been around a partnering model, which is let's go to some of the other professionals in our field in real estate who's influencing, directing, controlling a lot of real estate business, i.e. agents, builders, lenders are typically your three forces. Mm-hmm. And let's see if our vision of owning a title operation aligns with them. Is there an alignment of character, alignment of integrity, alignment of production? And then as we kind of put those pieces together, Emily was just an incredible operator, so much so as our brains begin to look at, well, can we do this in more locations than just Lubbock? Right? The models worked great here. Can we bottle up the ingredients
and reproduce it somewhere else
and go into other markets where we've got relationships, identify other, agent, lender, builders, share the vision, and then can we go find an operator in those markets?
Right.
And again, the same challenge always presents itself. We can find the right people, but where we've really settled on it is we won't open a new location. Like we're looking at locations right now in Houston, Uptown, Post Oak, Galleria, area of Houston. And we've got all of the partners ready to go on board, but we haven't yet identified fully that operator.
So I'm shocked that you're going to tier 1 markets though. And not tier 2 markets, because it seems like your niche and it could be, it's just like, hey, we figured it out. If you make it work here in smaller markets, you can definitely make it work in bigger markets. Sometimes that's easier and sometimes that's a lot harder because there's a lot more competition. So
100%. Yeah.
Right. And so, being in Amarillo, being in Midland, I thought you were fixing to say that, but I'm a little shocked that you're going into actually tackling
it's kind of been interesting,
markets.
the trajectory that we've taken. And I'd say the trajectory was kind of first led by relationships. So I kind of had a guy that I mentored a little bit in real estate, got his license, ended up moving to South Texas, into McAllen, Edinburgh area. Mm-hmm. And so conversation was like, hey, is your title experience for you and your real estate team and company great? No, it's horrible. Okay. So if we could bring a better title experience, that's kind of, there's pain presented. If you can solve the pain with a better solution, an incentivized solution, hey, there's where the opportunity could go. So we literally started our expansion in the title world in tertiary markets. So McAllen, Edinburgh being one of the first locations. Little did I know, although it's a different kind of a market, there's 1 million plus people down in South Texas. Brownsville, McAllen, Edinburgh, Harlingen.
But are you doing it from here? Or are you doing it? Did you find somebody down there?
Oh, no, 100%. Yeah. So we found operators down there, escrow team, et cetera. Yeah. We can manage a lot of the back office stuff, but the, day-to-day front office, brick and mortar, 100%.
Shaking hands, making sure everything's signed right, doing all the other 100%, stuff.
Yeah.
That's in those Don't you have to be in the county anyways, just make sure title's pulled correctly?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you get, title insurance and examinations for each of those counties.
So